gotten from the help of laboratory chemists. That is why in any particular pharmaceutical company, you always find the role of chemists very important. Then chemical engineering. There is difference between laboratory chemists and chemical engineering. Laboratory chemists can only work majorly in the laboratory, but you cannot see chemical engineering or chemical engineers in the laboratory unless they will consult the chemists to be able to come up with whatever they so desire, but their job is not conformed to the laboratory. Then medicine that we are talking about here is not drugs. We are talking about the discipline. And examples of people that we can classify under this, we have the doctor, we have the nurse. Their job is of diverse applications. I talk about application of chemistry. Chemistry has diverse applications, such as the ones in the hospitals, military teaching, health services, petroleum and petrochemical industries, manufacturing industries, agriculture, forestry. In the hospitals, just like the example I gave earlier, the use of drugs to cure patients. Military teaching. In the military teaching, they also imbibe the knowledge of chemistry because they are humans. Then the health service, such as the health centers we have around. Health centers are closer to the community than hospital. There, they give first aid before the patients are eventually taken to the hospital in a critical situation. Petroleum and petrochemical industries, manufacturing industries, agriculture and forestry. Petroleum industries, there, because of the fact that petroleum is a bulky product, it needs to be subjected to the process called fractional distillation, where it will be broken into smaller units, such as your kerosene, your diesel, your petrol, your naphtha, your bitumen. Then the petrochemicals, there you manufacture chemicals such as your drugs, cements, fertilizers. The manufacturing industries that we have around are just like your Sumar, where biscuits, beverages are being manufactured. Then the agriculture. I remember in the olden days where Nigeria imbibed the concept of agrarian, we manufacture cocoa, which was our major export. Then cocoa, we have bitter cola and etc. Then forestry. The forestry where you have your fish pond and so on and so forth. Introduction to chemistry. To a layman, chemistry is ordinary, but if you go deeply to what chemistry is all about, it is more encompassing than mixing chemicals together. Chemistry can be defined as a branch of science which studies matter, energy, and interaction between them. What do you understand by matter? Matter is anything around us. We have our chair, we have our electric fan, etc. What is energy? Energy is the ability to perform work. Examples of chemistry are lighting a match, cooking, burning of firewood, making palm wine, etc. And this can be illustrated by giving a fundamental example, such as a solute, such as salt, and a solvent, such as water, combining together to give you what is known as salt solution. The beauty of chemistry here is this particular salt solution can be subjected to evaporation, and you have your salt back. Salt and water gives salt solution. You can recover your salt back by subjecting the salt solution to evaporation. Adverse effects of chemistry. What do we understand by adverse effect of chemistry? That is the negative effect that chemistry inflicts on humans. The first one here is corrosion of iron. What causes corrosion of iron is simply air and moisture. When air and moisture come in contact with iron, it will make it to rust. Then the second one is pollution. What is pollution? Pollution are the contaminants that are brought into the system to cause negative effects on the system. A typical example of pollution is your acid rain. And the effect of acid rain is that it makes your clothes to be torn easily. It also affects plants' life by impeding their growth. Drug abuse. What do you understand by drug abuse? Drug abuse is when drugs are being used either in shortage supply or excess supply, and it becomes your way of life in such a way that it inflicts negative effect on you, and you cannot also do without it. Poisoning. A typical example was the one that was experienced 4 years ago in Zamfara State, where we have lead poisoning that entered into the water bodies, and people that made use of the water then died in the process. Questions that have been designed for these particular topics are as follows. Chemistry is defined as A branch of knowledge which produces chemicals. B, a branch of science which makes physics, biology clearer. C, the oldest branch science. D, the branch of science which deals with changes in matter. Number 2, chemical changes around us include all except rusting of iron, fading of colored clothes, C, sieving, D, decomposition of green leaves in a compost. Answers. 1. The answer to number 1 is D, which is the branch of science which deals with changes in matter. 2. C, which is sieving. What is sieving? Sieving is a separation technique that separates particles of different sizes. 3. D, it is also sieving, whose definition has been given earlier. Particulate nature of matter. These are classified into 2. You have the physical change and the chemical change. Physical change, it is